This episode of TRS is brought to you by Fable 3 and Xbox 360. It's a revolution. Order the game now. Today on TRS, we take a gamble on the video game Fallout New Vegas.
One of my favorite games of a couple of years ago was Fallout 3 by Bethesda, which took the tried and true old Fallout games and revolutionized them, made them with the Oblivion engine. Now we have a follow-up, which is much more than just an expansion pack. It really is an entire new game, Fallout New Vegas. It's also from a new development house. It's from Obsidian Entertainment, who is used to taking established franchises and making sequels. They did Neverwinter Nights 2, they did Star Wars The Old Republic 2, recently Alpha Protocol, but also doing Dungeon Siege 3, we saw at E3. We hung out with all those Obsidian guys, very cool guys. Nailed.
Inside joke.
Yes.
Inside joke.
Yeah. And Fallout New Vegas takes that wasteland, post-apocalyptic, coming out of a vault and trying to survive in that environment, and takes it from the East Coast, where Fallout 3 took place, to the West Coast, Nevada, California, New California with two-headed bears. And it kind of adds this Old West kind of flavor to a future post-apocalyptic world. I know you weren't a huge fan. You don't like open world games, as you've said over and over.
Correct.
And you weren't a huge fan of Fallout 3. So
Correct.
I'm assuming nothing much has changed here, but tell me what you think of New Vegas.
Yeah, some stuff has changed, but I think overall I had most of the same issues that I had with Fallout 3. I think this game starts off much quicker. I think it has a better sort of pace. Mm-hmm. So I kind of got into it a little bit more. But then it just starts to get bogged down by what I think is a horrible combat system. I think the leveling is not very good. I think my big frustration.
Let's delve a little deeper.
Sure.
Why do you think it's a horrible combat system? You don't like the VATS?
I hate the VATS. Hate the VATS with a passion.
And not using the VATS.
Not using the VATS is stupid, because clearly it was designed to be using the VATS. So it's sort of like a not very good first-person shooter, because you're supposed to be using this VATS system. But I really just found zero joy in the VATS system. So I was constantly, my sort of guy was stealthy gun guy. Mm-hmm. So I had the arduous task of slowly crawling up to any combat situation, because I would get an instant crit if I was hidden.
Right. And
I would shoot them.
Right.
So it just became this literal slow crawl through different environments to try to sneak up on the people, which was almost impossible. It was very satisfying when it happened, but rarely ever happened. So I really sort of didn't love the combat system, and I really had an issue with the leveling system, which is there's so much stuff to level, so many different things to level, that I was like, okay, I get it. I'm going to specialize.
Right.
So I'm going to be gun, sneak, lockpick guy. Well, you can't really specialize in 3, because if you specialize in 3 or 4, you start to be able to not level quick enough for the game. So what was ending up happening was I had like high gun, what I thought was high lockpick, and what I thought was high sneak, and then I got to like the first thing, there was something locked, and I was like, haha, success, my leveling has worked. Oh, you need like 57 more points in order to be able to unlock that. And so I was like, well then I must not be, so then it became, so I can't level guns and level lockpicking in order to get me to a place where I can actually do it.
But there's things, it's not a linear progression through this world. It's this giant open world. So there's stuff even in the early areas that you are meant to return to when you are more powerful.
That's awesome. I mean, I agree, but it does not quell the frustration of, I've become lockpick guy. The one thing in the opening level to lockpick, I put all my points in lockpick. I can't lockpick it.
Okay.
This is stupid. So that was frustrating. The second thing is, I really, it's really interesting. I talked about this with Fable 2, with the breadcrumb system. I really disliked the fact that things that were clearly objectives in the game were not always associated with a quest. So that way you couldn't see those objectives or where you're supposed to go to those objectives on the map. And an example was, I got to the computer, and there's one of those like guy's mayor's office in Nipton or whatever it was, and there was a like log in his computer thing, and I was like, oh, okay, this is something that I'm supposed. And it said, I've stashed all my stuff in the house between here and this place. Immediately my RPG thing goes, amazing. So I read this. If I hadn't read this, I wouldn't know about the house. So now I have to go find the house.
Right.
Well, I spent an hour and a half walking between the different cities trying to find this house that I could not find. And the discovering, the desire to go find it for me is the joy. Oh my God, there's a house out there that I now get to go find because I read this thing which most people aren't going to find.
Right.
The fun is not wandering for 2.5 hours through the desert to see if I possibly stumble upon this thing that I know exists.
You wanted
because I didn't do it.
That to trigger. Oh, you
a quest.
map marker.
Even if it was a giant global area that the house may be. I mean, it was.
And to be fair,
Red Dead's like that actually.
Well, and also to be fair, in this game, that often happens when you get an actual quest.
Sometimes happens.
But when you get an
with
actual quest, you get a map marker.
But there were a lot of things that were clearly quests that did not lock as a quest, like bumping into that guy who was like, "Oh my God, my girlfriend is trapped by the things."
Yeah.
That's not a quest. It doesn't.
Right, it's just stuff that happens in the world.
Yeah. So it's like, well, I don't even know what that is. So anyway, so all of those issues were there. I think the milieu was more interesting for me, having the sort of like.
Did you like the story?
Stuff? No, it's fine. I mean, but not fine.
Dan.
I'm polar opposite to Alex. First of all, the VAT system, I love.
Me too.
Love. So the VAT system is when you're gonna attack someone, you go into this mode where you zoom in on them, and every single body part is highlighted with a percentage of being able to shoot that body part and a health meter over that body part. What's cool about this is that if you have a less % chance to hit their head than their body, you sort of gamble in, well, I might kill them quicker, but I'm less % to get that. But if my gun is more, if I leveled up accuracy or whatever it is, or then those percentages all globally become higher. If he's shooting me, if I have 3 guys attacking me, 2 guys with a knife and 1 dude with a gun, I can VATS highlight the dude with the gun and just shoot his arm holding the gun, then move over to the guy who's attacking with a knife.
It becomes a turn-based system.
Yeah, it becomes
with
this
more
like,
strategery.
Exactly, but I'm fully able to run and just shoot whoever I need to and to change what, I mean like I love the strategic planning of an attack.
Yeah.
Love that. I wish the VAT system was in other games. Like I want this combat system to be in a different kind of game. Because I ran into the problem.
If it wasn't in a first-person shooter, I might enjoy it more. But the fact that I then pop out of VATS and I'm trying to do this first-person shooter that wasn't very good,
I barely ever just shot someone, but once in a while I would. I didn't have any major difficulty with it. Yeah.
N guy blew my mind the other day. I was talking to him about iPad games, and he was saying VATS is the solution to touch
amazing
shooting.
Yeah, that would definitely
Wouldn't that be
good.
amazing? Yeah.
Amazing.
Anyway. All credit
I
to
didn't
him.
have I definitely encountered some of the quest things that you talked about, Alex, but I barely did. I found so much more in smart design in placing those markers and fast traveling once you've discovered something. I didn't love the graphics, especially of the people.
It's a little dated engine, for
Yes.
sure.
And I found that I'm a broken record about most games, but I certainly said this about Fallout 3, is that the milieu is not that attractive, and I'm there forever, and it's the most trite. I mean, the story and all that stuff is just typical post-apocalyptic. We've spent so much time in this genre in video games and in movies. Like, come on, do something new, be different, be compelling in some way other than it's post-apocalyptic and we're
there's
eating
gambling.
rats and there's it's the same shtick over and over. This didn't advance anything in that genre.
Did you like the sort of gangstery storyline or no?
That was cool.
I don't know, his hands went like this. I think that means meh.
Now, maybe it's where I'm at in the game. I still have yet to find that guy. I've still been on my search to find that guy in Vegas. And so I haven't really encountered that.
I had a huge problem with this game. I wish I could talk about it on a deeper level. I wish I had gotten farther in the game. I had massive technical problems with this game.
Really?
On the 360.
Interesting.
To the point where I actually went and purchased the PC version to play some of that.
Yeah.
Because it would crash. It would crash over and over. I've actually had discussions now with guys at Bethesda, and they're telling me that I should clear out the Xbox 360 cache, which I should have known is kind of the only ever solution to things.
Yeah.
But they said there's a lot of solutions. I haven't had a chance to try that. I just got that email last night from Bethesda, and they're being really cool about it. But the PC version, I only, I had to start over from the beginning. So I'm not, that's why I kept asking you guys about the story. I love the story in Fallout 3. I was compelled to find my father and do all those things in that game. I found the beginning of this to be a little silly.
It's nothing like that in Fallout 3. Fallout 3 definitely, I was hooked on that story, and this does not have that.
Yeah, I wonder if there was big set pieces that I have yet to experience. I mean, we pushed back reviewing this game because wanted to play more of it, and I just was hampered by technical problems, and that's really an issue.
Yeah.
Hopefully the caching clear thing works out.
Crashed on the PC too. Plus, it really felt like this game was designed
also
for the 360 and PS3 and ported to the PC,
Yeah.
which I don't know if I feel that way about most RPGs. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I love these kinds of games. I love the open world stuff. I love finding things that I didn't even know to look for. I like.
Were you
all that
still
stuff.
into this world? I feel like even now, it's like Jeff's gotta now be like over this kind of thing.
No, I mean, there's just so
still?
few of these kinds of games made. There's so few. Like, we really created a world for you to just stumble around in.
People in Red Dead Redemption, it feels like a living, breathing world that people exist in when I happen upon. Here, it just feels like a video game. It feels like I'm sparking a thing to happen here, and it doesn't feel like it's alive.
Interesting. So make sure to stick tuned. We got a little Today in Rad coming up. Jeffrey, sponsor?
'Tis the season for amazing video games. I got another
Tis.
amazing video game to tell you about. Fable 3 is
So
out
excited.
right now. You don't want to miss it. We loved Fable 2, and Fable 3 takes place 5 decades later, so that Albion, which is the fictional universe in which it takes place, is moved into the Industrial Revolution, and so there's like all kinds of new awesome technology, and you become king, but that's really only half the game. It looks really cool.
Very excited to try it.
The revolution has begun, as they say.
Correct.
It's available
It's out
now,
now.
so check it out.
Amazing. See ya.
Jinx,
Vote today, vote!
Vote
Don't
today.
forget to
Vote today.
vote!
Vote. Jinx.
Vote!
Jinx.com/TRS.
wear the shirt at the voting
Vote!
booth.
Wear the shirt at the voting booth. What?
Vote!
Don't miss tomorrow's show where we return to Media Mashup.
So today is November 2nd, and on this day in Rad history, in 1947, Howard Hughes' Spruce Goose
Amazing.
flies for the first and the last time. So this is that climactic scene in The Aviator. This is
Correct.
This is how I know about it. And it's awesome.
like how that-
I think
It's
that's
also historic.
The prism through which Dan understands everything.
Howard Hughes, maniacal movie producer and entrepreneur.
And, started as an aviator. I
He
mean,
looked exactly like Leonardo DiCaprio for some reason.
yeah, mustache. Great man. Big plane.
Spruce Goose,
Peed
enormous.
into cups.
It's one of those like classic, invested a bunch of money and it was a failure.
Right.
Well, it flew
it did fly.
today.